Okay, so I thought I'd give a quick overview or update as to where we are to date. I received two phone calls from two separate individuals that were um, concerned or requesting that we haven't made enough progress. What can we do to make more progress? Could we put more news out? They were requesting press releases and staying a little more engaged. I found that a little odd, but it was insightful, right? So the indication from these conversations for me lets me know that not everyone's getting the message. And we've put together a pretty good apparatus to disperse information, but it's still not reaching everyone the way we would like or had hoped. So I thought this video might serve as a resource for those who are discovering the company or discovering the YouTube channel and some of the social media platforms as a resource. So for those individuals that did call me this morning, thank you very much. This is not an attempt to discredit those individuals or even complain about that. I genuinely appreciate them taking the time out to contact me directly, because it gives me that insight that I normally would not have had I not spoken to people who are on these chat rooms or these boards that discuss the company or trading strategies. I don't check those or visit those particular sites. So this does give me some insight that I otherwise would not have. So I genuinely appreciate the insight to the sentiment, at least for a certain segment of the shareholders. And hopefully this will serve as a way to address some of those concerns and also kind of set the record straight on a few things. I am aware through some of the people at social media that some comments are being made that are inaccurate. I don't know if they're intentional or if they're just statements made because they don't know, but this will hopefully serve as again, as a resource to set that record straight. So let's take a look. I went back and I looked at a couple of our numbers and metrics that are important to me. They're not the total picture, but I do look at many metrics across the board, not just for each company, but for the holding company as a publicly traded security. So I'll jump right in and tell you some of the things I took a look at. So I went back to the week ending of the 25th of December, and that volume traded for that week was just over 2.6 million shares for the week, right? So you look at last week, and I pulled all the metrics and the reports from last week, and last week, ended the 28th of May, week ending 20th May, we did 109,414,841 shares. That's an increase of just over 4,000% in weekly volume or market liquidity, if you choose to look at it that way. So I also went back 6 months and I looked at, for the same week ending the 25th of December 2020, what was the high price? The high price was 0011, and high price last week, all right, week ending, was 0488. That's a 4,336.36% increase in price per share for the high price. Okay, low price 6 months ago, 0009. Low price year to date is 032, an increase of 3,155.56% increase. These are all indicators that we're on the right track. Things are improving. It's not the end all. It wasn't the end goal. We have miles more to go, and we are continuing down that path. So the average closing price 6 months ago was 0101. Average closing price now 04017. That's an increase of over 303%. VWAP. This is something I do look at. It's not a trading standard, in my opinion. It's an indicator for sure. I don't trade the stock or a company stock. Obviously, that would be unethical. But I do recognize that the VWAP is an indicator and shows, at least in my opinion, where we are and the health of the trading of the stock. So 6 months ago, 00098. So that was below the average price per share. So for those who actually trade and understand trading, you'll know that when the VWAP is lower than the average price per share, that's not great. All right, that's an indicator that we don't have the support we need, and we may even be meeting some resisting or pushback. So the VWAP last week was 04, 0.077. That's an over 4,000% increase, and it was above the average price per share, which, as I just stated, would indicate that that's a good thing. Okay, so median closing price 6 months ago, 0.0099. Average closing price today, 0.4017, and that is an increase median price 0.399. That's an increase of almost 4,000%. So again, these are all strong indicators that we are moving in the correct direction. So let's take a look at number of trades. This is something I've always looked at. To me, it's an indicator of how many traders are active, or shareholders active. I know it's not the end all. I know you can't tell everything by this number, so you don't have to sharpshoot me on that. I know there's going to be some traders out there that give some pushback, but I do look at the number of trades. 6 months ago, 21 trades was the average number of trades a day, and today it's over 3,600. All right, so that's an increase of over 17,400%. Right, so that's significant increase. Dollar volume. This is something I've always followed. Dollar volume for the stock 6 months ago was about $2,600 daily. The dollar volume now is $4,460,897. That's a 171,473% increase in dollars being invested and traded in UATG as a security. That's significant. That's a huge improvement and speaks to market liquidity in a very big and real way. Okay, so the median, let's take a jump back. So the average daily volume was 662,981. The average daily volume now is 27,353,710. That's over a 4,000% increase in what many would indicate as market liquidity. I look at median daily volume for that, and I will go give you those numbers now. Median daily volume was 454,114 shares, and now it's 21 million, so a little lower than the average, but the median was 21,596,382. That is a 4,655.72% increase in market liquidity by my definition. So that is something I like to keep an eye on. It gives me a insight as to where we are as far as interest in market liquidity. You can be at any share price you like, but if you're trading 0 or 1 share a day, that doesn't mean anything. So we have significant market liquidity, and we have seen a significant improvement in that metric. So I think that's fantastic. So the 52-week high, week ending the 25th of December, was 0019. The 52-week high now is 0488. That's a over 2,400% increase in weekly high. And obviously the 52-week low remains the same at 0005 because it's within that 52-week range. So let's go over a few other things that I take a look at, and hopefully this will help shareholders and the investors that are looking at this and kind of maybe give some clarity to those that are confused as to what's happened, why it's happened, and what the true metrics are. These come directly from reports that we not only do internally, but from OTC. All right, and I have an update for you as well. So the last sale of 2020 was 001. We closed Friday of last week at 046. That's a 4,500% increase in the share price to date. So again, another metric that I take a look at. I do not look at the company's health as far as trading, hour by hour, day by day. That doesn't do me any good. Now, I understand if you're a day trader, this is what you look at. But if you're calling me to see, can you put out some news because you're looking to day trade, I'm not, that's an inappropriate phone call. I'm not going to do that for you. My responsibility to this company and to the shareholders is to ensure the long-term solvency of this company, which is what we are doing. We're building a company. We are improving on every metric that we possibly can, and we are building something that is going to be sustainable but also with an eye to the long term. This is not something where we're looking day by day or even week by week on what the increase or the swing or the spread, as it were, on the share price. I'm aware of them. But again, my responsibility is to make sure that we have a company that produces something and retails it at a profit while protecting shareholder value as an overview. This is not specific to one shareholder that may be day trading. Okay, so I want, and I appreciate the position that some of the day traders in. This is what they do, and they are needed. They are a huge contributor to market liquidity, and we need them. So I am grateful to that. But you have to understand, if I was to make decisions based on the minute-to-minute profits of one individual, that would be inappropriate, right? And that would not be helpful. So let's take a look at what we did last Friday. Last Friday, we did 36,937,781 shares in trading, just over 1.6 million in dollar volume. The day before that, we did 22 million plus shares, and that was about $846,000 in volume. Our rolling 30-day is 17,962,221, up from about 500,000, which is over almost 3,500% increase in the first half of the year alone. So significant. Again, these are just some of the things I take a look at that I keep an eye on. We average about $750,000 to $2.4 million in trading volume, which is somewhere between, it averages 15 million to 48 million a month, extrapolated, of course, which further amortizes out between 180 million to 500 million a year in dollars traded. This is a huge departure from where we were a year or two ago. So these are significant improvements. What have we accomplished in the past 6 months? Well, not just that, the metrics, but also in the past 2 months, we filed 30 months of financials and disclosures beginning in the 18th of March through the 19th of May. Filed the attorney opinion letter the 26th of May, which has subsequently been cleared. We've gone from stop sign to a yield sign with pink current pending, and we will probably see the yield sign come off in the next 2 days. I spoke with Nancy earlier today. They need another day or so. They are heavily inundated with disclosures, financials, opinion letters, and all types of filings. So just be patient with them. We've done what we needed to do. You can see that as a shareholder and as an investor, you can see the disclosures and filing statements, and they're there. So any day now, we'll have the yield sign lifted and we'll move forward and progress through our filings. Next will be the audits completed, and then we'll move on to the S1. So what else have we accomplished? Well, in the first 6 months, we retained one of the top law firms that have a history for and a talent for uplisting companies. They're filing the S1 for us as well. So we retained legal counsel to file an S1 and uplist the company. We've retained an auditing firm, a PCAOB auditing firm, to conduct audits in excess of 2 years of audits, not just on the holding company, but on all subsidiaries. Speaking of subsidiaries, we've added 4 subsidiaries and 2 equity and 2 strategic partners. So that's significant by my stretch. Additionally, through the video series, I'm going to touch on that in a second, we've announced revenues in excess of $78 million over the next 18-24 months, projected, right? Those are conservative. I think most people that have done their due diligence on the company and taken a look at things like the Novi device and even some of the things going on with H2O, those companies alone will bring revenues that potentially could even exceed those numbers as a whole. So we are being very conservative and very fair with our assessment of the company and where we're going to be 18 to 24 months from now. So I think we've given very clear guidance on that. I'm going to get even more specific over the next month or so. We're going to put out the Q2, and then we're going to really kind of do a deep dive into everything and where we were, where we are, and where we're headed. Okay, let's talk about transparency. So one of the statements that was made to me, and I questioned the individual, and they admitted they were unaware of certain things as far as the YouTube channel, for one. But let's take a look at what we've done to increase transparency and the communication to the shareholders that exist, but also new shareholders, because we've really put together an apparatus here that I think is building. I mean, the metrics will show that. I'll go over those shortly, but also indicates our intentions to communicate to you, the shareholders. So let's take a look at that. So we launched a new YouTube channel. We had the previous one that supported some of the other websites, but the new YouTube channel is about 2 months old. That channel's received over 7,000 views. So that's an improvement and as well as everything else, a tribute to the effort put forth by Candace and her team. It's nothing short of impressive, at least in my opinion. Twitter has over 40,000 followers. Facebook, I believe, has close to 8,000 or more followers. StockTwits, we took a look at that, has grown from 150 followers to the beginning of the year to over 1,500. It's a 912% increase in followership. Instagram has seen a 256% increase in people reached, with the average reel now being viewed more than 1,000 times. These are all things that I feel track with the growth that I expected from that particular department. We have released hours of videos. I couldn't tell you how many hours. The other thing here is we released a video series that not only outlined the corporate structure of the holding company and its subsidiaries, but we also gave, like I just stated previously, revenue guidance. We did an introduction to all of the CEOs. We went over the business model of each subsidiary. We talked about how there's synergy across all subsidiaries and how they all work together. We gave pretty in-depth guidance as far as daily operations, where they were and where they were hoping to be. So I was pleased with the outcome of that, and I was thankful that everyone got to meet all of the chief executives overseeing the operations of the companies that contribute to the holding company, which is your company, a shared company amongst all of us as shareholders. We've additionally given up weekly updates in tandem with near daily communications via the company's social media apparatus. And I have personally responded to hundreds of emails and addressed concerns and questions and assisted some in even pointing them in the right direction as to where to get due diligence. To me, all of this speaks to improved and increased transparency in an effort to communicate to shareholders. So for me, there has been a full 360 improvement in not just operations, not just in the metrics pertaining to publicly traded securities, but also into communication and participation from the shareholders. I received an email today from a shareholder pointing out a particular stock that he enjoys. Because of a previous video, I mentioned I was displeased with the no-show stock performance of Hygieia, so we're still working on that, and we'll be releasing that hopefully at the end of this year. He recommended a brand that we try, and we subsequently will be taking a look at reviewing that. I appreciate that feedback and that shared interest because it is our company. And I thought that perhaps this would help serve as a resource, but also kind of set the record straight with some people that may be just misinformed. So hopefully this helped. I do have some updates for you. Again, yield sign should be coming off in the next day or so, I was told this morning. We do have a few other things. We'll take a look at some of the subsidiaries real quick. You know, Boost has done phenomenal. What they've done for their customers is just unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about taking companies that might potentially be making a couple $100 a day to now in excess of 7 figures a month. They did that within a year plus time frame, and that's what they're doing for Hygieia Skin and will be doing for all of the companies. They have a very unique way or approach to marketing, and as a result, it's really delivered results. They've just brought in some other outside resources as well for branding, help building up some teams for Amazon and Facebook and the rest of social media. It's a big effort. A lot of money is being invested in this, and they've done quite well. I could tell you with Hygieia Skin alone, I'll pull it up right now. So I'm looking at total sales. So since the launch of Hygieia last year, they're literally just shy of $1 million. This year alone, let me take a look at this. This year alone, almost $670,000, $240,000 of it was last month. They saw a 57% increase month over last month, when typically before that it was just over 30%. So they're growing, and they're growing quickly, exponentially. We will meet that mark of $1 million a month by the end of the month. I'm very confident of that. By the end of the year, I should say, $1 million a month by the end of the year. So this is significant growth, and they're going to do that for every company. They've also, in case people have missed it, have helped establish the Hygieia brand. So when we launch the HP line, the high performance line later this year, and release the short socks, the crew socks, the boxers, and a few other things that we're looking at releasing, the Hygieia brand's already in the market. Everyone's familiar with it. All that money's already been spent in building the brand recognition, and now we're going to see those exponential returns in the form of dollars, and this is significant. So there's a lot has been accomplished in 6 months. So I would urge everyone to please do their due diligence and please take a look at all these resources. All of these, this entire social media apparatus and everything that we've provided, including the filings we put to OTC, they're only helpful or useful to shareholders if you use them. And you have to become a little more proactive in doing that due diligence so that you're not misinformed by those that may not have done their due diligence. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick update as to where we are mid-year. Shareholder letter, I got a call today on. I think shareholder letter will be out in July. There's a few things we have to execute on, and then the shareholder letter will address that. There's a lot of things in this shareholder letter, so we'll be doing a shareholder letter, and then we're already looking to do a live town hall to take those questions so people can get up to date. So in the next 2 months, you'll have another update as to how far we've come and what we've accomplished, and then of course what the goal for the rest of the year is. I think we'll probably include the next 18 months of what the plan is, so that everyone has an idea and can kind of have a checklist to see if we're meeting those benchmarks and those timelines. Okay, so we're getting on track as far as not falling behind. Once we get past this hurdle, there are more things that we have direct control over. So once we get past the S1 and we get past the application process with New York, which is 6 weeks, it's outlined. They give you an outline sheet. It's heavily regimented, and they're very specific about what has to happen over each week. Then we're going to be in more control over the things internally, and then what we can report to you. Right now, we have to work with obviously the regulators, and because of the shutdown and because of all these companies that are looking to meet compliance, they're heavily inundated. So just be patient with them, be patient with us. I can tell you this, and I wouldn't say it wasn't true. The OTC and SEC, they have been incredibly supportive and very engaging and very helpful. They haven't gone MIA on us. FDA is the same thing. We'll be doing a call with them this week in reference to Novi. I expect to have some updates for you on Friday on that. There's a lot happening, and everyone is truly putting forth their best effort. So, and if they weren't, believe me, I would be more than happy to share that with you, and I would share it with them too. So hopefully this serves as a good update. And if there are any questions, if you think I missed anything, please do not hesitate. I'll go back and I'll address it. So, and don't forget, we have questions, the Ask the CEO series. So I think Candace is going to put something out today or tomorrow on that. Make sure you get questions. And if I missed anything in this video, please contact us and let us know, hey, you got this wrong, or you missed this, what about this? And I'll be more than happy to address that on a Friday video. Okay. Hopefully this helped. Hope everybody has a great remaining of the week. We're halfway there, halfway through it. It was a short week. So I look forward to talking on Friday. Thank you.